Greetings, teachers. Are you ready for more? Because I'm ready to teach you about the digital mastery model of learning. If you don't know anything about the mastery model of learning, go check out my video on that first, or brush up on it in one way or another. This is really the next step to the mastery model and making it attainable, at least how we at our school are making it attainable for all learners of all ability levels in one classroom. It's a really exciting process. And go ahead and ask, I know, you've been doing things one way for so long, it's so comfortable, and it's so hard to change. Why on earth would you want to learn about the digital mastery model? It is differentiation like you have never seen before. When you can see all of your students working away in their ZPD, their zone of proximal development, in your classroom working hard in rigorous activities, it changes the way you see things. It changes the way they see things. It completely redefines your classroom and redefines the role of teachers and students as well in a good way. We're talking about tremendous amounts of independence on the student level, tremendous amounts of creativity from a teacher level, and really you get to do that stuff that you're probably passionate about, that you got into teaching for, coaching and working with students, and really that inspiration work, being that driver of learning in your classroom. It really redefines your role. You have more time to deal with social emotional needs in your classroom than in any other model. And you'll see as I break down the times and really how this works in future videos and what teachers are doing, you get to work with those students that absolutely need you. You get to deal and manage with those behavior problems in a way that is completely non-intrusive to other students in the class, or I should say at least less intrusive. You have much more time and much more capability to deal with students that need you without taking away from the rest of the class. And my favorite part, kind of as I had mentioned before, it's incredibly creative. It's expansive to your body of work. You start creating units and creating instruction and finding and locating things for your classes, and that doesn't go away. In the digital model, you have that forever. If you create an instructional video, you get to use it this year, next year, the year after, 10 years from now. If you get hit by a bus, your friends can use it. This is exciting, and it really expands your body of work and makes you more valuable as a teacher, specifically when you're looking for jobs. You can come to the table and bring entire units or even entire years of study to the table, making you far more valuable as a teacher. All right, so let's take a look at it, the digital mastery model. Now, that word digital implies some devices. And yes, this model is, I'm gonna say, impossible to implement in a room where all students don't have some sort of digital device, either Chromebooks or my favorite is iPads. You really need to be working in a one-to-one classroom. So just like the mastery model for learning, the steps are the same, except for they're digital. Instead of teacher-driven instruction, you have digital instruction. Not to say that you're not creating it, and we'll talk more about each one of these steps in depth in future videos, but for now, we're just going to go over the basic overview of it, right? Digital instruction. So something students can access on their devices. Digital skills practice. It's another thing that they can access on their devices, and you can organize in lots of digital realms and learning management systems. After digital skills practice and they prove mastery, that they have not only witnessed this instruction, they've learned a little bit, they've mastered some of the skills that come along with it, you want them working in digital micro projects or micro applications of the skill, right? They've been using devices to this point. You really want to design something where they can get up, get out of their seat, get out of their device, they can move, they can talk, they can use language. You really want an opportunity launched through the digital realm. Now I say digital projects, I don't mean they're doing stuff on their computers. I mean, you've housed this and you put these projects somewhere on the internet and they can access them and see what they're supposed to do from their device. It doesn't mean they're using the device. It means that they could be up and moving around the school, up and moving around the classroom. They could be working at project tables. They could be working in other rooms or outside the building entirely, but they get their instruction and direction from the digital world, from some learning management system or somewhere where you've housed these projects online. After they've applied their skills and projects, you want digital assessments. You want students to be able to take these assessments and prove mastery. If they don't, now I set my mastery standards at 90%. If my students don't pass any assessment at 90%, then they get kicked back to digital instruction, or maybe all they need is a little more work with the skill to go back with digital skills practice. And then they will reassess after they feel like they're ready, or maybe after we feel, because it really, I mean, you have a lot of time to work with students in a model like this. So really, it's kind of a collaborative effort, talking with the students, deciding, are you ready to take this assessment again? You know, and then really reflecting if they pass or don't pass, taking that moment of reflection and, okay, what was wrong about what we were thinking beforehand, or how could we fix this so that we can be ready for that assessment next time? Because they might have to take it 2, 3, 4, 5 times before they pass it. But that's not a heavy lift on the teacher anymore, because this is all in the digital world. Students have access to this, and students drive this model entirely. Okay, so the effect of all of this, right? If you can take the mastery model and you can plunk it down into the digital world, there's some tremendous positives and also some things you might be going, The first one is it's a lot of work. You have to track down or create all of this instruction and skills practice, these assessments, these projects. You have to house them digitally, and they have to be all there ready for students to access them all at different times. So you do a lot of work on the front side. And then we're going to talk about really, you have to be very adaptable in class, in the moment, and we'll talk about that in my next video, right? But there's a lot of work that goes into this beforehand. The great part is you get to use it again, right? You may put a lot of effort into creating instruction and skills practice for a unit, and then you can use it with students the year after, and the year after, and the year after, and the year forever. You can share it with teachers. You can collaborate to create different units and share with each other so that it really helps, but it certainly takes a lot of work on the front side. You have to have a growth mindset in order to be successful in this model. Now you might say, well, my students don't have a growth mindset. Well, you need to work on that. Right? And you have lots of time to do it. The students that have mindset issues and are the classic, I can't do this, you will have more time to work with them on breaking down those barriers and getting them access to a quality education than you would in any other model, right? They don't get in your way anymore. They become your focus, right? These are the students that you work with to really, do that work of teaching. Again, probably why you got into this profession was to work with those struggling students, and you have more time to open mindsets to things that would have normally been closed in a traditional classroom than you would in any other model. And then finally, teaching and learning time are completely redefined in a really, really, really good way. And this is a good launching point for my next videos, where I will talk about that redefined teaching time, and then I will talk about that redefined learning time. I hope that this helped you maybe grasp how, at least skeletally, how the mastery model could be alive and well in a very diverse classroom today, right now, with lots and lots of different students. It's something that I've done for years. It's something that I'm passionate about. It's something that we are opening a school really with this as the cornerstone of our skills onboarding, our professional development, and really how we tackle basic foundational learning for all of our students. And I will see you next time when we talk about that redefined role of teacher.